Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you all here. Please do drop a little hello into the chat box as you are joining the webinar so that I know that you can hear me and see me loud and clear. Welcome, Alana, Anita, Donna, Julie, Louise, Melissa, Melva, Prue, Quinton, Randall, Tanya, Tracy. Welcome. Good to have you all here. Yeah, a little pop in the chat box. Let's take a look. Yeah, I've just figured that out. Donna says, hey, Andrew, it says chat is disabled. Gotcha. Okay, this is the first time I've run a webinar on Zoom. Maybe that works, me to everyone. I used to use a software called Webinar Jam. So let me see if I can figure out how to enable chat. Oh, well, I guess just where you guys have done Q&A might have to be the way. Can you guys see where I've put hello in the webinar chat? Yes. Can you reply? Yes, no. Yep, but can't reply. Okay. Can you see each other's comments? So for example, Donna, can you see that Malva has said, yep, but can't reply? Yes, we'll need to go to your meeting settings to enable chat. Thank you. Luckily, you guys are here. Meeting settings. Maybe this needed to happen before. Maybe this needed to happen before I got on. What do we got? Allow, enable Q&A, enable panelist, ask on mute, raise hand. Bear with me, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Panelists can chat with, attendees can chat with everyone. I think we've done it. Here we go. Hello. Can you guys hear me and see me loud and clear? I would assume so, as you've been replying to me so far. So that's good news. Excellent. There we go. There we go. Cool. Welcome. So we have Anita, Alana, Caitlin, Donna, Emma, Julie, Camilla, Louise, Melissa, Melva, Prue, Quinton, Randall, Sam, Tanya, and Tracy so far. Welcome. Good to have you all here. Would love to hear, where are you guys tuning in from in the world? And how have you found your way here? I'd also love to know, how have you found your way here? Has it been in my emails that have been going out? Just if it's email, just comment below email. Maybe it was Instagram, maybe it was a referral from a friend, maybe it was an Instagram, maybe it was a Facebook post in the shadow work trainings. If you could just drop a little answer into the chat box as how you've got here, that'd be cool. Quinton's come from email, Anita's come from email, Emma's come from the Facebook group, Facebook and email. Elaine's via email, Facebook. Cool. Excellent. Well, welcome. Good to have you all here. The last thing that I would love to hear from you guys is, why are you here? Why have you chosen to show up and spend 60 minutes or so listening to me talk about the 4 primary shadow archetypes and the light archetypes? What has drawn you here? Do you want to uncover your biggest emotional blocks? Do you want clarity on what to do next moving forward in your business or career? What has drawn you here to invest an hour of your time? If you can drop that in the chat box as well, would love to hear. Donna says to learn so much more about the archetypes. They're epic what I've learned so far. Clarity in business and career, great. Joey says further clarity. Randall says smash down blockages to help me move forward with my goals. Excellent. Mel wants to drum it into my head. Tracy wants to remove blockages. Invest in self and business, says Quentin. Anita, there are some shifts happening for me since willing this workshop. Every time I share time with you, more lands. So I'm here for the landing. Great, Joey. So grateful for what you've told me so far. Awesome. Excellent. Emma says to find out why I procrastinate and learn how to overcome so I can build my business and stop holding myself back. Looking forward to learning about my shadows and the archetypes. Excellent. Well, you're most certainly going to get that. Working with the archetypes is fucking great. Super insightful. You will see like this. What we're going to do here is a bit of a snapshot with some depth at the same time. But what's great about the archetypes is that they're just super insightful and precise and accurate. It removes the guesswork. And when it comes to the 4 steps of conscious creation, you can simply identify where you are based on reverse engineering the way that you're thinking, the results that are showing up in your life, the results that aren't showing up in your life, behaviors that you're engaging in, et cetera, et cetera. And be like, okay, cool. This is the shadow and the specific traits and characteristics that I need to address. So without further ado, let's get stuck into a little slide presentation that I prepared earlier. 4 primary shadow archetypes with myself, Andrew Peters. There we go. So what we're going to explore on this call this evening is we're going to take a look at the 4 pillars of conscious creation. And then we're going to go a bit of a deep dive into the prostitute and the lover, the child and the sovereign, the victim and the warrior, the saboteur and the magician. So everything on the left is the shadow. Everything on the right is the light. Lover, sovereign, warrior, magician are light. Know that as you release shadow from the body, you're automatically connecting to the light. One of my favorite quotes from the Dalai Lama is that love is the absence of judgment. And so therefore the lover archetype, for example, is the absence of the prostitute shadow. And then at the end, once we've gone through the 4 light and shadow archetypes, I'm going to take a look at some personalized readings of traits and characteristics for you guys. So here we have the 4 pillars of conscious creation. Pillar number 1, which is know your desire. This is the prostitute and the lover. When it comes to consciously, intentionally creating and being someone in the world who is confident within themselves that they can create what they want because they fundamentally understand how the universe works, the steps to create, the subtleties, the shadows to address, and so on and so on, really comes down to these 4 pillars of conscious creation. There's 4 overarching pillars and steps, and within those steps, there's subtleties, there's nuances that take time to learn, just from a perspective of actually absorbing, whether it's reading or watching the information. That takes time, and it takes time to embody. It takes failure and mistakes to get more attuned to yourself, as to you're like, yes, okay, that is prostitute, that's lover. Because there may be a moment where you're like, I feel pretty clean on this. I think I'm in my lover. And then life does its thing, and upon reflection, you're just like, okay, I thought I was in my lover. I can still see how there were actually elements of the prostitute. I'd addressed these aspects of the prostitute, and so I thought I was all good, but then this one popped up and I hadn't seen that yet. And then you get an experience of that. So your knowledge of the archetypes, your wisdom goes deeper because you've had an experience, and the experience has given you a felt sense rather than just an intellectual knowing and understanding. So you've got to be willing to act. You have got to be willing to move forward, make mistakes. When it comes to trusting and following your intuition, you've got to be willing to think you're trusting it and following it, but really you're still being influenced by fear. Because it's that practice, it's that real life practice and application over time that will deepen you into these teachings and deepen you into yourself more than reading 1,000 books ever could. And so pillar number 1 is know your desire. Some subtleties and nuances of it is that you want the desire to be clean and clear. What I mean by this is if you want to be successful, but you're embarrassed about wanting to be successful because you grew up in a family where it's like that's silly and that's stupid. Just who needs that stuff? Just focus on being happy. That's what matters most. So maybe there's shame or there's embarrassment around the desire. So you may have, at the level of pillar 1, some people would have I have no idea what I want, wouldn't have a clue. Some people have an idea of what they want, but there's some shadow and some judgment around it. So it's murky instead of clean and clear, and they don't really act on it. Some people have a decent idea of what they want, but they're not connected to their self-value in the following of that desire. And the lover, for example, is clean and clear and deeply connected to the self-value. So like I said, there's 4 pillars of conscious creation, and within each pillar there's other steps, there's levels, there's subtleties, there's nuances, which we're not going to go deep into today, but I just want to lay out the foundation for you in this way so that you can, so that I can give you as best of like a bird's eye view as possible. And then there's areas that we're going to zoom in here and back out. We're going to zoom in there. We're going to zoom in there. We just don't have the time within this hour, and we'll go over a little bit if we need to, but we just don't have the time to completely zoom into everything. Then we have pillar number 2, which is you turn the desire into a dream and commit. So if this is the child and the sovereign, for example, a desire is not a dream. It's not a goal. You might have a desire for more play in your life. I feel like I just want more play in my life. That's the desire. And you can be really clean and clear on the fact that the desire is to play more. As you come into pillar number 2, you take the desire from pillar number 1 and you get more specific on what play is going to look like and what are the boundaries of play. So for example, it could be, well, play is going to look like tennis every Tuesday at 5:30, and Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock I play basketball with some friends. That's what I want it to look like. I want play to look like a balance of an individual sport, which is the tennis, just playing singles, and I want the play to also look like a balance of individual sport and team sport. So you can see here how this is expanding upon the desire and bringing more specifics to it. Does that make sense? If you guys can just drop in the chat box, yes, that makes sense. And I just want to check in a couple of answers. Mel says, each time I hear this, I learn something different. Yep. Sam Davis says, love this work, always pick up new things. Awesome. Elaine wants more clarity on the archetypes and what's running for me. Cool. Makes sense. Excellent. Yeah, so that's just a nice, simple little example of the first 2 pillars, which are purely energetic. You get the energy of pillar 1, nice, clean. It's a clean, clear desire. You've got clarity on it and you're connected to your self-value in the sense of actually having it. Then you turn it into pillar 2, you make it more specific, because that then creates a roadmap. If you're just like, oh, I just want to play, it's like, all right, how? What are you going to do? But it's just like, okay, I need to, find someone to play tennis with, and I need to either get some buddies together or join up another team. So what happens at pillar 2 is it gives you direction. It creates a map for the creation of your desire. But if it's like, I just want to play, and someone's like, you said that a month ago and you've done fuck all in terms of following it, then you're just hanging out in this vague general space that doesn't result in you creating what you want. So you need to know your desire, you need to turn it into a dream and commit to it 100%. Then the third and fourth pillars, the pillar 3 is the victim shadow and the warrior archetype. This is about committing to taking action. At pillar 2 and 1, there's no action. It's all about getting internal, energetics, mental and emotional foundations down pat. When it comes to pillar 3, you've got to commit to taking the actions. You've got to commit to taking the scary actions, putting yourself out there. The subtleties and nuances here are about resources and abundance. This is the turning of energy into physical matter and bound. So I'll go back to the other one. So pillar 2 says boundaries. This is boundaries in the sense of like, this is what my dream looks like. This is what it doesn't look like. An example that I'll provide is I used to run live programs, and there's a cutoff date. There have been times where internally, energetically, I've said, last registration 7 p.m. Monday night, but I've been flimsy on that. And if someone, on the Tuesday said, is it too late to join? I'd be like, all right, come on in. That's a weak boundary, which means it's a weak energetic frequency in the creation process. Whereas if I would say internally, I'm like, nah, cutoff is 7, even if someone comes in at 9 p.m. that night, only 2 hours later, the answer is no. That's a strong boundary of what my dream looks like and what my dream doesn't look like. And a strong boundary is a strong energetic frequency in the creation process. So it's of more benefit to you. But if you're flimsy, kind of like, yeah, I'll bend or bend over based on what I've said, well, you're not really connected in that moment. The boundaries that I'm talking about here is more so in relation to interpersonal boundaries and communication with other people. Then we come to pillar number 4, which is the saboteur shadow and the magician. This is all about your trusting, your surrendering, following intuition. The subtleties here are about time and receiving. How quickly can you create something? And how open are you to receiving your creation? And this will make more sense as we get a bit further into it. I'm just going to check. Yep, makes sense. Great. Cool. Yeah, let's keep going. So they are the 4 pillars of conscious creation. We have know your desire, turn desire into dream and commit to taking the actions, trust, surrender, and follow your intuition. You can insert anything into these 4 steps, anything that you want to create. And then you use the prostitute, the lover, the child, the sovereign, the victim and the warrior, and the saboteur and the magician to identify where are you stuck. And you're just like, okay, yeah, I can tell, I know what I want, but I am embarrassed about it. All right, your work to do is about getting your desire clean and clear. And then it's just like, all right, I'm clear on what I want. I want the promotion. Oh, I don't know if I'm good enough for it. And you're like, all right, cool. So I'm still at pillar 1. I've got clarity. It's clean. It's clear. I definitely want that, and I feel very willing to be seen in my desire for wanting what I want. I think it's great that I want it. Now my work is, I don't really. Oh, can I have that? Am I good enough for that? Your work, your thoughts, your emotions will show you that your work is, oh, yep, I'm still at pillar 1, and the work that I need to do is more deeply connect to my self-value. So the archetypes end up being a map of consciousness. They fast track your growth. The more familiar you become with them, the more you can read yourself and coach yourself on the spot as you go, meaning the less time you stay stuck and blocked, the faster you move forward, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got the life that you want. You are creating your physical world from the inside out. You're tuned into how the universe works, and you are using it to your advantage to create and live the life that you want. If you would like to do that, just comment below advantage in the chat box, which you may even have some shadows around yourself. Oh God, is it okay to take advantage of life? Yes, absolutely it is. But you may even have some shadows or some discomfort around that. You might think, oh, I don't like that word advantage. I'm going to change it to something. I wouldn't suggest that you change it. I'd suggest you look at your shadows around the word advantage. Okay, so pillar number 1, know your desire. This is the prostitute shadow. The prostitute shadow is all about our wants, our desires, our beliefs, our opinions, our values, our attitudes. It's about the tribal system, acceptance and approval, safety and security. And what happens, it's about self-value as well. What happens with the shadow of the prostitute, this is where you will be getting underpaid in a job. This is where you'll be missing out on the promotion. This is where your work is incredible and is amazing, but you're just not getting the mental and emotional recognition and acknowledgement that you want. And you're also not getting the monetary acknowledgement that you want. You are someone who I know that I'm good. I know that I've got amazing stuff. I know that I've got great work, but you just don't feel it. You lack the feeling, you lack the connection to the feeling. And so your external reality, it might be in your business where you don't have many clients, or you're only ever selling low ticket offers, or you got to give so much. You're a bit of a people pleaser. You add in all these extra freebies to try and get people on the call or whatever it might be. You're willing to okay, let's lower the price, or insane extended payment plans. No one's really buying your high ticket stuff, for example. This is when you are in the prostitute shadow. The prostitute shadow will sacrifice, compromise, and bargain what it wants in order to get a percentage. And so what I mean by that is, if you're in the prostitute shadow, consciously or unconsciously, you're saying to life, you're like, all right, don't worry about 100% of what I want. Just give me 75. Keep that 25%. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just give me the 75%. And this is where the prostitute shadow is at. Now, like I said before, you can have judgment and shame simply because you desire. You might have a good amount of things in your life and a good life, but you want more. I feel bad that I want more. Some people have less and I want more. That's bad. So the prostitute shadow is judgmental of self. It is judgmental of thoughts, opinions, attitudes, and desires. It might be like, oh, that's such a lame way to think. When I was younger, I started going to these Buddhist meetings when I was 22, something like that, 22, 23. And I didn't tell any of my friends, even though I was super interested in it. I'm like, I feel so pulled and connected to what I'm learning here. I was in the prostitute shadow, and I was embarrassed about what I was interested in, which was a judgment on myself, and which leads to self-sabotage. So I'm just going to check the chat section. And I also pre-created some polls. So let's launch this poll. I don't know how this is going to work. Who resonates with aspects of the prostitute shadow? And let's see what's in the chat box here. Advantage, advantage, advantage. Caitlin, so you go from pillar 1 to 2 to 3 and so on, but may start on pillar 3. Your work may start on pillar 3. The biggest archetype for you could be the victim, for example. But that's the way that the pillars go. So each pillar correlates with the 4 archetypes. So if you're blocked with pillar 2, you can look at archetype 2. Correct. Because pillar 2 is child and sovereign, then if you're blocked there, then that's the work that you need to do. Let's see how this poll is going. Okay. 12 people, me quite a few. 4 people, me only some. Cool. Well, that poll worked nicely. Excellent. So this is the prostitute shadow. If any stuckness that you're experiencing, I'm stuck, I don't know who I am, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know my direction, where do I go next, what do I do, what do I want, where do I belong, I'm lacking clarity, any of this, prostitute shadow, pillar 1, that's your work, that's where you need to start. An insight for you here is it's not that you lack clarity. Clarity is always available to you. It's just that you're judgmental of who you are. And so let's say that you have a desire to be successful, but your whole tribe, your friends and family are just like, success is for idiots, you know? Success is for idiots. You should just be happy with who you are. And so you're going to be shameful and embarrassed and scared for your tribe to see this part of you because you fear judgment, rejection, and criticism. So what happens is you shut down your desire and you never pursue it. You shut down your desire and you never pursue it, meaning that you always compromise and sacrifice self in order to maintain external acceptance and approval, safety and security from the tribe. That's what happens here. And so you shut down the desire, you never follow it, therefore you never create it. And you always settle for less and tolerate less and live a life that is safer from your conditioning rather than living a life that is what you really want to do and what you truly want to do. Cool. We got the poll. 13, 14. Cool. Okay, so that's the prostitute shadow. Then we have the lover. So as you release prostitute, you step into the lover. The lover knows what it wants all the time. The lover is deeply connected to its self-value. The lover has an energy that naturally draws recognition from others without trying. I invite you to write this down and meditate on it and just contemplate it, that life recognizes life. Life is a process of awakening and becoming. And so life is awakening to itself. Therefore, life recognizes itself in more awakened states. Does that make sense? What I mean by this is it's like when you meet someone who's got a lot of self-love, you meet someone who's deeply calm and still and peaceful within themselves. You meet someone who truly deeply has a sense of confidence within themselves. There is a part of you that recognizes that, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. There is a part of you that recognizes this within another. And there's a desire to have what this person has found within themselves. Life recognizes life. Does that little sentence there make sense? If you can just drop it into the chat box, that would be great. Life recognizes life. So if you are in the lover, you get that promotion, you're getting paid what you deserve, you're doing work that you love, you are attracting the clients that you want to work with, you have the friends that you want to have, the relationships. This is where people find the time and money in life for the things that they value, and things of value attract. You can be a thing, a person of value in the world, in whatever form it is for you. Maybe you're a musician and you're so deeply connected to yourself and your music and the value of your music and what it brings to people and what it does for people. You don't just understand it. The lover is an embodiment of value. The prostitute goes, I know my music's amazing. I know it's incredible, but I'm just not making sales, or people aren't coming to the shows. I know it's so unique. the lover feels it. The lover is it, and therefore embodies it and emanates that vibe and that energy, and people recognize it. It's why some, coaches, for example, some coaches charge what they charge and others charge a lot more. There's some companies that and restaurants that charge this much, and there's others that charge this much. And it is truly an embodiment of value, a felt sense of value, and a connection to the value that you bring to the table, that you can offer the world. So let's go back to our fun little polls over here. End poll for this one. Share results. Where do they go? Oh, maybe you guys can see this now, but I'm sharing my screen so you can see it anyways. Let's stop sharing that. Then let's launch the lover archetype poll. Who wants to embody the qualities of the lover archetype? I like doing these polls. This is fun. Over in the chat box here, what do we have? Life recognizes life. Yes, yes, I love this. Yep, 100%. Awesome. Cool. So that's the lover archetype. That's as you're done at pillar one. You know what you want. You're clean and clear on it. Away you go. Donna Drew says they are fun on this end too. Great. Good to get the feedback. Thank you, Donna. I'm glad they are fun. Yes, 16 from 16. No one said no thanks, which of course is what I expected. I don't think anyone's going to say no thanks, but let's end that poll. Cool. So any questions at this stage? Please feel free to pop through any questions if you do have them. Just going to have a quick sip of my water, and then I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay. What do we have here? The child shadow. So this is still an energetic pillar. There's no movement here just yet. The child shadow is the dreamer. All the dreams, but no commitment, no movement. You just, and your dreams are quite general. So for example, I was working with someone the other day and they said, I want to be the best that I can be. And I'm just like, life is like, what is that? What does that even mean? Life has no idea what you're saying here. There's no specificity to what you're choosing to create. I want to be the best that I can be. Eventually, with specificity, we got to a place of, I choose to be a great communicator at my place of work with my colleagues, superiors, and team. Now, that is way more specific than I want to be the best that I can be. And what happens with specificity is it evokes emotion. So this triggered insecurity, doubt, and anxiety for the person that I was working with, because I want to be the best that I can be. That's my goal in life. That's all I want. I just want to be the best that I can. This is child shadow, and I'm telling you right now, that does not work. That does not fucking work. You are wasting your time just wanting to be the best you can with no specificity. Life is like the best at what? Lawn bowls, the best at croquet, the best at 50 meters freestyle. Like, well, what do you want to be the best at? But when you communicate to life and say, hey, I choose to be a great communicator at my place of work with my colleagues, superiors, and team, that's specific. There's what you're choosing to be, the identity, where and with who. And so the child is just in this place of like creating these big, vague, general dreams that are too far away from them that they don't even have the energetic capacity to create right now. Someone else I was working with in one of my inner circles the other day, it was actually our deep dive conversation to then come into the inner circle. They shared their goal in the time frame. And I know this person, I know where they're at, I know how much action they've taken in relation to that goal. And I just gave him some honest feedback. I'm like, look, I don't even think you've got the energetic capacity to create that just yet in this time frame. But that's what the child might do, because then if you don't achieve it, if you fail and you don't get there, emotionally it's not as much of a hit, because it's like, well, it's such a big goal. So the child shadow is ultimately waiting for someone's permission. The child shadow is afraid of getting in trouble. Is scared of getting told off. Am I allowed to say that that's my goal and this is what I want? The child shadow is wanting to be taken care of, wanting to be looked after, taking action. Oh, even the idea of action on the goals is too much. And there's just no commitment here at this level. Randall says, oh, look, it's me. Yeah, and that comment just goes to show how much in resonance we are with these archetypes. They are fundamentally a part of the human psyche. So let's get let's get another poll going, guys. I mean, all the polls from here are going to be exactly the same, so that's a little boring, but let's still go and ask the poll: who resonates with aspects of the child shadow? The sovereign, however, so with the child, for example, with the child, there is no sense of I'm doing this is happening. There's no sense of that in the child shadow. The sovereign is just like, this is who I am, this is my purpose, this is my direction, this is the specificity, this is the map, this is the way that I'm heading. The sovereign has, this is happening, 100% committed. I will do whatever it takes until it takes to bring this dream into the physical reality. So the sovereign is an embodiment of self-permission. It is an embodiment of power. We've got here in the chat. Camilla says, I self-sabotage at pill at 2. I have no self-discipline and distract myself with meaningless tasks to the point where I do not follow through with the commitment. Yeah, because there's no commitment there. There's some sort of fear of getting told off or in trouble. Maybe you're starting out and your dreams are too big. They're too far away from where you're currently at. Or you're needing some permission to move forward. Let's go to the poll. What do we got? 9 people say me, quite a few. 5 people say me, only some. Cool. Loving it, guys. Thank you for your participation. So this is the child shadow. Then we come to the sovereign. The sovereign is, yeah, well, I've just started to say what some of the sovereign is. Yeah, the sovereign is the embodiment of commitment. The sovereign isn't afraid to say out loud what it wants and who it is. The sovereign, for example, there was a live program I ran, I think it was either start of last year or end of last year, where I think it was start of last year actually, where I was super clean and clear on this is the cutoff date. This is the cutoff date for the VIP. And someone asked to join. They're like, yep, I'm thinking about it. And then their yes, the actual yes came after the cutoff time. And they were keen and ready to go. And I could have made an extra $1,000. I could have had them come on as a VIP, could have served them through that month of the live Infinite Flow program. And I said no, because going in, my intuitive guidance and what I felt was, nah, this is the clean and clear boundary. For that launch, I also actually, for every free 3-day program that I ran, was if you didn't do a video intro, I wouldn't even accept a written intro. I'm like, if you don't even do a video intro, you're out of the group. You've got until after day 1 video to have it up. If you don't, you're out of the group. Now, what can happen here is there can be fear of what if no one does it and I look like a dickhead and I've gone from 100 people in the group to only 5, and then the program sucks and then I don't make any sales. You know, those types of fears will come up when you're presented with the light archetype. The light archetype is going to trigger your shadow. It's going to scare your shadow. I'm just thinking, does sovereign go EI or IE? Anyways, that's neither here nor there. And so at times it's like, oh, that's the light can scare us and challenge us. Oh, that's scary. No, I'll just let them. If they don't want to do a video post, they can do a written post. That's okay. Yet at the time, running that free 3-day, that's what I felt. Those were the boundaries. I stuck to it. And then there at that time, I had the best launch that I'd had to date because I was in the sovereign. It was clean and clear. This is what it is. This is what it isn't. Whereas the child is just general and vague. Does that make sense? And I just want to check in with you guys so far. Have these examples provided you with an insight, a felt sense of the distinction and the differences between prostitute and lover, child and sovereign? Are you able to see what I'm getting at here and how one goes to the other, goes to the other, goes to the other? You know, there are links that you can see and that you can get a felt sense of. Oh, okay, yeah, I can see I'm lacking in the sovereign and I'm in the child. I'm in the child there. It might be that the child resonates and that's what triggers, or it could be like, wow, the sovereign feels so far away from me, and that is what does the triggering. So here we go. Over to another poll. Who wants to embody the qualities of the sovereign archetype? Makes sense. Good examples. Yes. Able to feel them. Great example. Very clear. Awesome. Makes perfect sense. Explain it very well. Thank you. Thank you. When does sovereign switch to rigid, inflexible boundaries? Never. The sovereign is never in rigid, inflexible boundaries. That's purely shadow. Randall, yeah, makes sense. I was the one that couldn't make a video because I copped a Facebook ban. These are great. Awesome. But what is the balance? I'm going to need a better question than that, please, Caitlin. What do you mean, but what is the balance? What do you mean by that specifically? And if you could provide some context for me, that will help me to just give you a far better, more accurate response to what you're speaking to. But keep the questions coming, Caitlin, and everyone else. Loving the engagement so far. Let's keep rolling. Then we come to the victim shadow. So this is pillar 3. The victim shadow is taking action, yet not going very far or not going very fast. This is where you feel that life is against you. Constant test after constant test. Oh, something else to heal, something else to face, another lesson, another challenge. And there's a this is unfair. Of like, oh, poor me, this is unfair. The victim will say things, why is this so hard? Why do I have to do it all alone? Why do I have to do it myself? Why do I, where's my help? That's what the victim will say. So Caitlin, for example, the victim can also manifest as the bully and the punisher. And this is where the rigid, inflexible, stiff, you can't fuck with me, you can't cross me, you can't say that about me, type boundaries come in. It's victim energy, but it can manifest as the bully or the punisher. Whereas the victim can manifest as like the doormat, the baby, the crybaby, the pushover, the victim. And so you can get those people in the world that can be fiery or feisty or full on and intense. And they're really coming from a place of deep insecurity and fear and shadow. They're really coming from their victim shadow. And they're like, no, I've just got high standards. It's like, no, you're just a fucking bully. You know, you are just in a punisher can't fuck with me type phase coming from your own hurt. And that's where that's a way in which the victim shadow can manifest. Other ways, like I said, I think this is such a great one. Not going very far, not going very fast. Always getting sick, technology breaking down. Always feeling like you need to go after everything and chase it and initiate every bit of change. The victim shadow never has the experiences of life just going, here you go, here's a promotion. Or a company like headhunting you and being like, hey, we want you to work for us. Or a client just being like, you know, I heard about you from someone else. I've been loving your posts. I'm reaching out. I want to work with you. Or just life going, here, man, go on a holiday. The victim never experiences these gifts, these upgrades, these synchronicities, because it's constantly in lack and scarcity and not enoughness. That's where the victim shadow hangs out. So there's commitment. There's a level of commitment. It's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but it's not 100% commitment. You never completely follow through with tasks. So there's some procrastination here, some avoidance and stuff like that. And or you never take that one big aligned action that you need to take. So there's some action that's taking place. Pillar 3 is all about commitment to actions and therefore the creation of resources. The victim struggles to attract things into its reality. So back to the polls. You guessed it. Who can resonate with aspects of the victim shadow? Caitlin, yep. I guess I was thinking more around setting boundaries. I struggle with balancing weak boundaries than swing to very rigid. Yeah, so the reason that you experience this, ultimately, if I was to be working with you, we would start all the way back at the prostitute shadow, because the more deeply connected to a sense of value that you feel within yourself, the less fearful you'll be of losing things. The lover knows that safety and security and acceptance and approval are internal things. But if you're deeply disconnected from yourself, there's an emotional dependency on things around us. A resistance that we can have to asserting boundaries is, what if I push the person away? Or what if I lose the thing? Or what if I don't get the thing? And so there is a resistance to actually setting the boundaries. So the reason that you struggle with boundaries, Caitlin, is purely because of the shadow that's in your body, a combination of the archetypes. Purely that's why. As you do the work on not trying to get better at setting boundaries, but rather just releasing the shadow, you'll find that the adverse effect is that you are automatically better at setting boundaries. Does that make sense? Cool. Yep, quite a few, only some. All good. As you leave the victim, you connect to the warrior. So the warrior has just an absolute certainty and a knowing in its ability to create. The victim is like, I've got to go and get everything out there. The warrior goes, I connect to it in here and bring it to me. So the warrior will have an experience of resources and help and results just landing in your lap, seemingly just coming into your life. You know, I was having a fun experience of this a couple of years ago, where I was just going deeper into warrior, where I was on the golf course and I was struggling with the driver, and then a mate said, here, man, try this club. And I just started hitting it really well. And he's like, man, it's yours for $50. And so at that moment, I was like, huh, that's awesome. My golf game got better without me having to research clubs, chase after clubs, pay full price. Life was just like, here, man, here's an upgrade for you. I wanted to get a guitar, and a friend was leaving Bali, and she just gave me her guitar. And then I got some guitar lessons, and the guy was just like, these strings need I'm going to get some better strings for you. I still had to pay for them, but I didn't need to come up with the idea. I didn't need to go after it. He installed the new strings. Yes, I paid. Yet the way I experienced that as well was like life was just like, here's an upgrade. Have a better emotional experience of playing the guitar. Let's just improve the quality of your life. And so if you would love to be someone in the world who focuses purely on their inner work and then receives those experiences of life upgrades landing in your lap, just comment in the chat box, life upgrades. And I'll also open up the poll of the warrior. Just comment in the chat box, life upgrades. Now this happens for the warrior because it just has a magnetic energy. It's the master of turning energy into physical matter. It lives in a full, whole, abundant state. Life upgrades, life upgrades. Yes, please. I need one of those clubs. Yeah, so I went from a driver to a 3-wood and I just gelled with the 3-wood. Life upgrades. Awesome. Love it. Cool. So this is what happens for you as you step into the warrior. And the poll says, yes, me. No thanks is again. Whoa, that is crazy. Okay. Then we have the saboteur. Hands up. Put your hands up if you are an overthinker. You're constantly analyzing situations, needing steps 1 through 10, wanting to understand why, doubting the process, saying things like, I haven't done enough yet. I haven't worked hard enough yet. Something's missing. I feel like something's missing. What else can I do? What more can I do? What more needs to get done? What am I missing here? What haven't I done? That is the saboteur shadow. It's a weak masculine energy. It lives very much up in the head. And there's no trust in the universe here. There's no surrendering. Because think about this. If you're saying, what else can I do? What you're actually saying is, I don't believe I've done enough yet to create what I want, to bring this into creation. When you're saying what more needs to get done, you're saying not enough has not yet been done. I am not yet enough. There's no trust of the universe. And the saboteur needs to see external evidence and proof of progress. Okay, yeah, we've got a few signups for the webinar. Okay, this is working. This must be working. Whereas the magician might not have any signups to the webinar for the first 5 days, but internally just goes, I know it's working. I know it. I know it. I feel it. I want the signups. I'm committed. I'm following the actions. I know it's happening. The saboteur will be like, oh, we haven't had any signups. This isn't working. Change the landing page. What else do I need to do? Reach out to more people. Make more posts. Go, go, go. Build, build, build. And it will just be in doubt and lack and scarcity because the saboteur is disconnected from an internal sense of knowing. The magician, however, knows. What do we got here? Hand is up, hand is up, hand is up. So this is the saboteur energy. This is where you are not trusting, you're not surrendered. Let's get the 7th poll happening. Just going to check the chat box here. So I forget which archetype I thought I resonated before, but this seems a direct conflict of that. Yeah, so you'll likely resonate with every archetype. different traits, different characteristics, and then you'll resonate with every archetype at different times, different traits and different characteristics. Then there'll be times where you feel like I'm super clean and clear. I feel really deep into lover. And you've done your work and you're like, oh, fuck, I can tell I'm more in the saboteur. Yes, that's what's playing out. Lover, clean and clear on what I want. I feel the value of it. But you're like, but I can tell that I'm just, yeah, I need to drop. I'm overthinking. Oh, okay, if I'm overthinking, if you're constantly thinking, how's this going to work? How's this going to happen? What else do I need to do? You notice those thoughts in your mind. Saboteur. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to be with. That's what I need to address. So that's why you use the archetypes to read your reality. Yeah, as Emma says, different situations will bring out different archetypes as well. And then you'll spiral in a good way of going deeper. You'll revisit. A better way to put that is you'll revisit at greater depths, time after time. Okay, then we have the magician. The magician is about trusting the intuition. The magician knows that what you want to happen has already happened. What I mean by this is the energy of what you want to happen in the physical world, the energetic potential of it already exists. You may have heard, trust what you want because it's already happened. More accurately said, what that means is the energetic potential of anything you want to create already exists. The physical manifesting of what you want to happen, if that hasn't, it hasn't happened. So I think the language of what you want has already happened is slightly misleading, but I think a better word is not so much that it's misleading, but it's just inaccurate. What's more accurate is that the energetic potential of what you want already exists. Does that make sense, guys? Does that perspective give you a deeper felt sense of how the universe works? It's already happened. What do you mean that it's already happened? Well, what that means is the energetic potential of it already exists. Does that make sense? If you could just drop that into the chat box, that would be fantastic. Polls, what do we get? Yep, me quite a bit, me only some. Cool, cool. Let's go to the last poll of the magician. Makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. Anyway, it's up to us to bring that potential to life. Correct. Awesome. And looking at this poll, yeah, everyone's down. Everyone's down for the magician archetype. Cool. So over to you guys. Any questions at this stage? We've got a couple more minutes. It's 6. Well, on my side, it's 6:28. So on the East Coast, it's going to be 8:28. Got some time for a couple of questions. Also have some time to show you, well, let's just have a review. We've looked at the 4 pillars of conscious creation, which is know your desire, turn the desire into a dream and commit to it, commit to taking the actions, and then trust and surrender. We've gone through the prostitute and lover, the child and the sovereign, the victim and the warrior, the saboteur and the magician, all being a pillar each. Pillar 1, prostitute and lover. Pillar 2, child and sovereign. Pillar 3, victim and the warrior. Pillar 4, the saboteur and the magician. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to grab a link. As we jump over here. So I'm just going to pop a link into the chat box for you guys. That you can check out, because what I've got here on offer at the end of this conversation is a 1-to-1 shadow archetype analysis. So what this is it's $17. It's a way in which you can get clarity and insight on a personal level from me of your biggest emotional blocks, the strongest shadow archetype playing out in your life right now, the specific traits and characteristics that you need to address, and a personalized process based on your reading to shift you from the shadow to the light. So I've got processes I've got a number of different processes for every shadow to light, every archetype. And based on the traits and the characteristics that you are experiencing most strongly for each archetype, I will give you the process that you need. So the way that the one-to-one shadow archetype analysis works is it's $17. I will ask you a number of questions. This is all done via Facebook Messenger, by the way. I'll ask you a variety of questions to help elicit and uncover the number one shadow archetype that's running in your life at the moment. The way that I'll do this is both by intuitively tuning into your energy and reading the language that you use in your answers, and also looking at the challenges that you're experiencing. From this, I will determine the strongest shadow archetype that's running in your unconscious. I will give you an audio breakdown of that archetype. I'll then give you a personalized audio breakdown of where, how, and why this archetype is playing out most strongly in your life, with the specific traits and characteristics that you need to address in order to create the biggest change. Not only giving you the insights that you need, you're then going to get the mechanism of surrender training video so that you can actually release the shadow. In this conversation here today, there's been a lot of insight and awareness around what the archetypes are about and how to identify. Within the one-to-one personalized shadow archetype analysis, you'll also get a mechanism of surrender training video so that you can release the shadow and embody the light. There'll be a guided meditation to help you do that as well. And then, like I said, the personalized process based on your reading to help you shift from the shadow to the light. Now, I've popped a link into the chat box for the archetype analysis. And this is what will help you go deeper. You may feel that you don't need it. You might feel that you do. You're able to ask a couple of questions as we go through. I will help you get clear on the challenges that you're experiencing more deeply, where you want to get to, and then from there give you the roadmap with the analysis itself. Of course, you keep the analysis, you keep the training video, the guided meditation, and everything like that. So over to you guys. Any questions at this stage of the conversation? Randall said, round that up to 20. Know your worth. I'm keen on this for sure. Awesome. Anita says, sounds amazing. Joey says, I would love to have this done, Andrew. Awesome. You've already helped me so much. Tracy says, I'm very keen. Awesome. For those of you that are keen, just get to the link, go to the link, make the purchase, and then I'll be in touch and we can go from there. If you guys have any questions whilst you're here, let me know, and I've got a couple of minutes to answer. What have we got here? Can I take a picture of the previous slide, please, to ponder on? Yes. What's the previous slide? The review or the magician? What's the slide? Rose, I missed the first half hour of the transmission. Can you send me the replay? Yep, there'll be a replay that goes out. The review. Yep, here's the review for you. Tracy, very keen. Awesome. Would love to have you through an analysis. Guys, if you're all good and you don't have any questions, just comment below saying all good. If you have any questions, send them through. If you're keen for the analysis, grab the link. If you miss the link by the time this webinar is over, please send me an email requesting the link or send me a message on Facebook requesting the link, and we can get stuck into your archetype analysis. Thank you. All good, mate. That was great. All good. Got onto the link. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Cool. I'll just wait another 60 seconds or so. Oh, I know what I should have done. I should have shown a testimonial of the archetype analysis. I'll add that into the slide next time I run this webinar. But I trust you got some value, guys. The archetypes are fucking great to work with. They're just, they have helped me so much over the last 3 years. Clients that I work with love deepening into them. Like I said, it's fast, it's accurate. It is just a game changer. What have we got? All good, great information. Thank you, thank you. Great slides, excellent. All good at the moment. Signing up now, fantastic. Awesome. All right, guys, trust you enjoyed. There'll be a replay going out as well. The option to get the analysis doesn't expire or anything. You can sign up for that whenever you want. And away we go. Going to check up this final thing here. It was all good. Cool. Randall says, I take it life turns into a perpetual analysis of which archetype has a hold of you. You could say a perpetual observation, a perpetual awareness. Once you've got these insights and you're looking through these lenses, you see things differently. You see yourself differently. You see life differently. You can get stuck into analysis paralysis, of course. So yeah, it can be analysis, it can be observation. The observation can be tiring and stressful at times. You're like, fucking hell, I'm so, I've learned all these things I can't unsee, and then it can shift and transition into a very beautiful experience. Life it's got many colors to it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, great, awesome, cool. All right, guys, take care. Speak to you soon.